All right, guys, I want to welcome you back to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Show. Today, we got a very special guest, my main man, Derek Snow, coming down from Canada, who's running an amazing dog training business called No Dog Left Behind. And then most recently, just in the last few months, has actually launched a dog coaching business to go after, people who want to up level their skills as a dog trainer. And so, Derek, thanks for being on the show today, man. Can you tell us just a little bit about, how long you've been doing dog training and kind of all that and what you specialize in?
Yeah, for sure. My pleasure being here. So I've been in the industry for 15 years. It just all started as a passion project where I just loved working with dogs. Primarily prior to the last month, basically, I predominantly worked with like dog behavioral issue cases like aggression towards people and other dogs. We run a dog daycare and training center, as well as, basic group training classes and private sessions and such like that.
Yeah. And one of the kind of prior to joining Habit-Based Lifestyle, I know you've been in the program for going on a couple of years, right? What were you struggling with before, prior to coming into Habit-Based Lifestyle?
Well, there's quite a few things, I think, but like looking back, it was kind of a short vision.
Okay.
Somewhat like being stuck in my own limitations of what I'm capable of doing mentally. And I mean, one of the biggest things that I reflect back from, it was like a year and a half I've been in this program, is the amount of growth. And it was really propelled by, you and your team helping me be like, well, like you can create whatever you want. It doesn't have to just be these two things you think are available. So that's been incredibly powerful. So essentially you've helped me get out of my own way and fast track me to progress in what I actually want to do. So I'd say those are the two biggest things that stick out for me over the duration of the program. Is I got out of my own way with your assistance. And then the second piece is my own self-imposed limitations have been wiped away. So I've created something that looks nothing like it did a year and a half ago.
Awesome. And, when you first came in here, everything you were doing was in person. That was one of the things we talked about. Obviously, you were in Canada, so a lot of restrictions when it came to, seeing things in person. And so one of the other things I've watched you do is take something that you were only able to do in person, then you took it virtual and you started to expand that program virtually. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, it was out of necessity at first because I couldn't do anything in person, right? But
Right.
It really changed our programming so dramatically to make it that much better because it became a necessity. It's like, well, I can't, no one can hire me because I do everything in person. So I created a whole bunch of like infrastructure for online dog training that when things did open up again, it was a complement to our existing service. So they got both some in-person stuff, but also this way deeper level of understanding from the virtual side, complementing things we'd do in person. So it just provided like so much more value to our clients that are locally, which I then also repurposed that program and just kept running it on a virtual level as well.
That's awesome. So, big thing is you come in, you have a big mindset shift of, hey, I'm kind of stuck here. I can only do these things. All of a sudden now you're like, dude, I can do whatever I want. I can build a virtual program. You expanded that. And then you kind of had this hybrid model where you're doing some of it in person and people can still learn virtually, even if they're not in your place, which is really cool because people can continue to learn and up level their skills. Let me ask you this, man. What was going on in your business prior to coming in, I know you talk a little bit about the mindset stuff, but you were kind of stuck, in that $10,000-12,000 a month range. And so what was going on in your business that kept you from really getting into the numbers you're doing now?
Partly just getting stuck in putting out fires, I think.
Okay.
In the sense that like I needed some income to come in, and I was short-sighted in the sense of like, okay, I got to host say 6 in-person group dog classes per week to make X amount of dollars. And then I got to host however many private sessions to make X amount of dollars to maintain this 10 to 12K a month. So it was short-sighted in the sense of like, I just kept selling my time and I couldn't figure out how on my own, how to leverage my knowledge. So through some intervention and assistance, I was able to like take the leap and hire a team member that I could replace myself with in certain regards to open up time so I could create more money coming in.
Right.
It was a challenge for me because I was like, well, how am I going to pay someone else when I'm just trying to keep the doors open, running my ass off, burning out? And it just, it was that leap of faith being like, well, you're going to open time so you can make more money. And it's like, oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's try it. And then I did it. And it was like, there's a lot more money. Oh, okay. So that was, it's happened numerous times, that leap, taking that leap of faith as far as like, well, I don't know if it's going to work out. And then I do it. And I was like, it's like this, I've found this interesting universal test where if I have the courage, it's like, I know where I want to go, but I'm scared to do it. And I do it anyways. And then the universe is like, good job, Derek. We're going to reward you with some gems. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So it's beautiful.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you learned how to delegate some of your business to where you could continue to grow it. And not only that, you learn how to automate and also eliminate some of the tasks you're able to do. So you could scale your business so you could continue to grow. And then you could have people under you that you brought in to kind of support that growth. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, I know we'll say this. What's been the biggest result? What has this program helped you produce as far as like results wise?
Well, tangibly, like, it depends on the month, but anywhere between like 3 to 5x what I was making before.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah, I think when you came in the year before last year, you came in, I think you said you did around 100K for the year.
Yeah.
And then last year you did 300K. Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you literally, 3x that. And then also you've had a couple months where you've had over $60,000 months compared to, the $1,000 months you were barely getting by yourself when you were working about 80, 90 hours a week to get those and doing all your one-on-one stuff.
Too many. Like I was just burning out. Like it's unfortunate when you're doing something you love, but too much to a point where you stop loving it.
Yeah.
And that's where I was at.
Awesome, man. So like maybe what's been an unexpected result that you've gotten out of this program?
Well, I would say the unexpected result is, well, it's,
I mean, you can go ahead and list all of them if you want.
Well, yeah, they're like, I'm like thinking through a handful, but the biggest one is just like being confident enough to take the next step of that, where I want to go. Right. So for example, like this is the great example is me now providing coaching for either dog trainers that are in business, people that want to become dog trainers, or like boarding and training facilities that want to add dog training. So this coaching and consulting has all been the ability for me to create that as a new opportunity for people and me to assist people with on a much deeper level and serve more people. That was completely unexpected. And it's like the culmination of all my hard work over the years is coming into this ability to offer some really high level training and specialized training to people that will be able to help thousands.
Yeah, that's
So like
awesome.
I could only stretch myself so thin working with one case at a time, right? But if I'm training trainers and facilities that work with dogs, I mean, I can stretch myself so much further with less of like burnout by doing this. So that's you know, the other one is like just being able to trust my instincts. I've really had the backup basically from HBL to be like, well, what do you think? I think I should do this. Well, let's do it. And then I do it and I'm like, oh shit, it worked out. So there's
Yeah.
numerous
I
ones.
mean, dude, I remember the day you signed up, and I remember like literally, I'm like, Derek, dude, like do this, like almost talking you into it. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this or not. And it was such a big leap for you at the time. But then to look back and be like, okay, like you went from, 10K a month, kind of running the whole business, doing everything yourself, to all of a sudden, building a team. Once you kind of built that team, you started to see yourself go from that 10K a month to 20K a month. And all of a sudden you're like 30, 40, 50, 60K, like numbers. Dude, I've never heard a dog training business doing 60K a month. And so for you to hit those numbers is pretty amazing. And then now to see you, where you're actually now training people who want to be a dog owner or people who want to be able to add that. So it's like you've transitioned yourself from, being an expert in dog training in your community to now all of a sudden being an expert that can actually teach other people who want to be experts how to do what you've done, which is pretty amazing. So,
oh yeah, I would have never guessed this.
and
So.
dude, now you're like a CEO, right? You're not like the dude doing all the work. Now you're the guy that's actually standing back and saying, hey, here's the moves we need to make to get the results we want. So,
well, yeah, and building that like competency and trust in the vision, and then HBL really helped me like kind of reverse engineer how to get there, with specific habits, getting into being like, this is how I'm going to consistently invest in myself in the business. So that's been incredibly helpful. But
awesome.
I am the like acting more as a CEO nowadays. Like I have 7 other staff members, where it was just me. I think I had 1 staff member when I started HBL. So
Yeah,
replace, delegate.
that's awesome, man. The biggest thing I see is kind of like the slave business owner who's got like the ball and chain attached to him, doing all the things, working 78 hours a week, burning out, to now, you're kind of this CEO who's stepping up and stepping out into kind of doing the things that are very high profit, that are things that you're super passionate about. But it's also a way for you to give back to your community.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's awesome, man. Let me ask you this. Is there, what would you tell someone who maybe was on the fence like you that one day where I had to, let's just say, maybe pull you into the program a little bit, but what would you say to that person that was sitting here watching this?
That feeling of being scared to move forward is the green light to go, is what I've learned. So like that's how I was able to like, take that leap for myself, was like, I'm scared shitless. Like I just wanted to retreat. And then we talked a little bit more and I'm like, I'm scared. So I should do it. Damn it. Okay, fine. I'll find out a way. So it's like when there's hesitation, it means it's important enough to you. You're scared that if it doesn't work, what's going to happen? So that means it's worth doing. Green light.
Right. That's awesome, man. Let me ask you this. Anything in your lifestyle, outside of business that maybe has changed for you since you've joined this program?
Well, some of it is just using a similar framework as like the business habits of being like, I'm going to do this on this day and that on that day, and ensure I carve out time to work on the business instead of just in it. Has been something I've adopted in my personal life as well, with like ensuring I carve out time for family. you know, like Sunday breakfasts is a big thing that we did, as well as like date nights with my son. So it's using some of these tactics and skill sets I've developed through HBL and repurposing them in my life that has, you know, proven to very positive for my relationships.
Awesome. So, you know, you got more free time with your kids or your loved ones, the ones you want to invest in. Your
Right.
kid, you know, your dogs could be your other kids, but you've found
They
yourself
don't talk back though. So
yeah, as you've gotten more successful in business, you've actually, you know, figured out that you get more time with the ones you really care about. You know, so that's pretty amazing.
yeah, for sure. And going from the interesting thing that happened was that when I got into HBL, was able to open up some more time where I could actually take like a weekend off with my family and go away somewhere, and the business isn't gonna like fall apart because I'm not there, which is
Right.
huge because
Yeah,
that
that's
could have never
awesome.
happened.
That's so cool, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you being on here. Any last words for the audience?
Last words? I don't know about that.
All right. Well, I mean, last words for someone listening who might be here's what I'll say, man, is what's been really cool is to watch you go from the guy doing everything yourself to now stepping into the CEO role and then stepping into coaching and leading, which you can see you're super passionate about. You've already, you know, got your first 2 clients and already done your first 10K just in the last 30 days. And it sounds like you got some more clients rolling in. So congratulations. And just want to tell you, man, super proud of you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm grateful to be here now and in the future and for all the other stuff I'll create. So thank you for the
Awesome, man.
support.
You're welcome, man. Well, have a great weekend. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.